Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Surabhi Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 30th of August. Indian Prime Minister addresses 4th BIMSTEC summit in Nepal. Two militants killed in encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. And Pakistan military plotted Ghazni attack, says Afghan Interior Ministry. And now for all the details, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with other leaders of BIMSTEC member nations, attended its 4th summit in Nepal's Kathmandu city on Thursday. He emphasized cooperation among the BIMSTEC nation is important for regional progress, peace and security.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the other leaders of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation or BIMSTEC, attended its 4th meeting in Nepal's Kathmandu city on Thursday. While addressing the inaugural session of the 2-day summit, Prime Minister said the cooperation and coordination among the 7 member nations grouping is important for economic progress and to tackle issues like terrorism. This year, the summit has 2 main agendas: multi-legal assistance treaty to check terrorism and other crimes and enhancing connectivity in the region, including coastal shipping.
Excellencies, क्षेत्रीय इंटीग्रेशन तथा आर्थिक प्रगति और समुद्र के लिए हमारे इन साझा प्रयासों की सफलता के लिए यह आवश्यक है कि हमारे क्षेत्र में शांति और सुरक्षा का वातावरण हो.
Earlier in the day, the Indian Prime Minister met Nepal's President Bidya Devi Bhandari in Kathmandu city, along with the leaders of BIMSTEC member countries. On the sidelines of the summit, he was also scheduled to hold separate bilateral meetings with the leaders of the member nations. Established in 1997, BIMSTEC consists of 1.5 billion people and has a combined GDP of $2.5 trillion.
Security forces gunned 2 militants in an encounter in Bandipora district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Thursday. During search operation, arms and ammunition were also recovered from possession of the slain militants.
2 militants were killed in an encounter with security forces in Bandipora district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Thursday. The encounter broke out in Hajin region after search operation was launched by the security forces. After the militants opened fire at the search party, the security forces retaliated. A huge cache of arms and ammunition was also recovered from the possession of the militants.
आपको पता है कि ऑन स्पेसिफिक इनपुट हाजन पे एक ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया गया था. इसमें आर्मी, सीआरपीएफ और पुलिस मौजूद है और इस एनकाउंटर का जो अभी हमें डिटेल्स मिला है वहाँ से, उसके तहत 2 टेररिस्ट मारे गए हैं और उनके पास से जो हथियार और बाकी चीज़ें जो है बरामद की गई है. अभी सर्च जारी है. जैसे ही सर्च कंप्लीट हो जाएगा और इनका आइडेंटिटी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आउटफिट डिटेल्स आ जाएगा, हम वो शेयर करेंगे.
The encounter came a day after 2 terrorists belonging to the Pakistan-based Hizbul Mujahideen terror outfit were killed in an encounter in Anantnag district of the province on Wednesday. Meanwhile, in another incident on Wednesday, 4 policemen were shot dead in militant attacks in Shopian district. India accuses Pakistan of regularly arming and infiltrating militants across the border to spread unrest in the Kashmir Valley. Pakistan denies the allegations.
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Thursday visited ancient temples and a textile museum in Cambodia on the 2nd day of her visit. Swaraj arrived in Cambodia on Tuesday after visiting Vietnam as part of a tour to the key Southeast Asian nations aiming to strengthen strategic cooperation.
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Thursday visited the ancient Angkor Wat and Ta Prohum temples in Siem Reap town on the 2nd day of a trip to Cambodia. The Angkor Wat temple is the largest religious monument in the world and was originally constructed as a Hindu temple dedicated to Lord Vishnu. Swaraj's visit to the temples was part of a 2-day visit schedule in the country. She was in Cambodia to deepen bilateral ties with Cambodia. The Indian Foreign Minister on Wednesday held talks with the top Cambodian leadership to boost strategic cooperation between the two countries. Later in the day, she also visited the Mekong Ganga Cooperation Asian Traditional Textile Museum, which showcases the traditional textiles of Cambodia, India, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand and Vietnam. Swaraj arrived in Cambodia on Tuesday after holding talks with top political leaders in Vietnam. Her 4-day visit to the two key Southeast Asian nations aimed to strengthening strategic cooperation.
In news from Pakistan, scores of Islamists held a protest in Pakistan's Lahore city to demand government to cut diplomatic ties with the Netherlands over a cartoon competition featuring caricatures of Prophet Muhammad. Led by an Islamist party, the protesters demanded the Dutch ambassador to be immediately deported.
An Islamist party in Pakistan called for the expulsion of Dutch ambassador Ardie Stoyes-Bracken on Wednesday as it launched a protest against a cartoon competition featuring caricatures of the Muslim prophet Muhammad. Hundreds of activists gathered in Pakistan's eastern Lahore city for the demonstration organized by Tehreek-e-Labbaik to stage a sit-in pressuring Pakistan's new Prime Minister Imran Khan to cut diplomatic ties with the Netherlands. Party leader Khadim Hussain Rizvi demanded that the Dutch ambassador be immediately deported and that Pakistan call back its ambassador from the Netherlands.
बिलफौर जो है वो वजीर बाहर निकालें और इनका सफ़ीर और अपना सफ़ीर जो है वो वापस बुलाएं. ये बहुत हल्का सा मुतालबा है और इनको बहरहाल ये करना पड़ेगा हर सूरत में.
Meanwhile, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi said he raised the issue with the United Nations and several world leaders.
इस इशू को हमने रेज़ मुख्तलिफ लेवल्स पर किया है. जहाँ जहाँ कर सकते थे, कौमी असम्बली ने अपने लेवल पर किया, सेनेट ने अपने लेवल पर किया, दफ्तर ख़ारजा ने अपने लेवल पर किया और हमने अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के सेक्रेटरी जनरल से भी रुजू किया. हमने जो ह्यूमन राइट्स यूनाइटेड नेशंस की ह्यूमन राइट जो हैं हाई कमिश्नर ऑन ह्यूमन राइट्स उनसे भी रुजू किया और यूरोपियन यूनियन से भी.
Pakistan's upper house of parliament on Monday condemned the contest organized by far-right Dutch politicians. Images of Prophet Muhammad are traditionally forbidden in Islam as idolatrous. Caricatures are regarded by most Muslims as highly offensive.
In news from Afghanistan, the Afghan Interior Ministry on Wednesday accused Pakistan of providing aid to the Taliban to carry out the recent attacks on Ghazni city. Taliban launched a major offensive on the city last month, which was followed by 4 days of deadly battles between the terror groups and security forces. Afghanistan's Interior Ministry on Wednesday said Pakistan's military planned and provided the necessary aid to Taliban insurgents to carry out the coordinated attack on Afghanistan's Ghazni city earlier this month. According to ministry officials, foreign militants were also among those killed in the Ghazni battle. However, Pakistan's embassy in Afghan capital Kabul city has hit out over the claims and said these claims are false.
در عقبی برنامه و پلانگذاری دست پاکستان و نظامیای پاکستان هویداس برملاس که اینا همه تسهیلات برشان فراهم کردن.
The attack in Ghazni happened on July 8 during a security meeting presided over by the Minister of Defence, Tariq Shah Bahrami. The Taliban made significant advances on parts of the city after launching a major offensive on the city, but the Afghan security forces pushed back the Taliban following 4 days of deadly battles. More news from Afghanistan. Afghanistan's Farah province governor on Wednesday said that the province had been under high security threat from the Taliban and it is affecting development projects. This came a day after government officials said army forces had been clearing their bases from the region.
The governor of Afghanistan's northern Farah province on Wednesday said that the province and its capital is facing a serious security threat from the Taliban. Faryab has witnessed several clashes between the government forces and the Taliban in recent weeks. According to the governor, it has been a hindrance to the development projects in the region. Civilian aircrafts have been unable to fly into the province for a year due to the high security threats. Provincial capital Maimana city is said to be surrounded by militants and the residents don't want it to turn into Ghazni, which has been the center of clashes and attacks by the Taliban.
آیتی که اینجا میاین باز اینمی کوشش میکنن راه را باز میکنن و در یک ویدیو کنفرانس برای رئیس جمهور گزارش بسازن که این راه باز شد باز که از این میمنه هلیکوپترهایشان پرواز میکنه باز فردا باز را مسدود است.
استقامت مسیر شاه را از دو طرف بیس‌ها به صورت اساسی داده شده برای قراردادی‌ها و یک مقدارش بخش پلیس، امنیت ملی، اردوی ملی در قسمت تحکیمات خود کار کردند.
These concerns came a day after Faryab officials confirmed that the army forces have been clearing their bases from Faryab province without a fight. High casualty rate amongst the army forces has become a major concern for the Afghan government.
Thousands of volunteers joined hands to help clean up a flood-ravaged town in India's southern Kerala province. The province faced massive floods this month, killing over 300 people.
Days after southern Indian province of Kerala was swamped by flood waters, thousands of volunteers on Thursday came together and launched a clean-up drive in Kuttanad region of the province. People from various areas volunteered and launched the cleaning drive of waterlogged areas and buildings. Students, daily farm workers, carpenters, electricians and plumbers from across Kerala are going from house to house, removing mud, restoring power and water connections and repairing doors and windows.
It's devastating. What these people are having to put up with, people back in the UK or all over the world haven't got a clue. It really is very, very, very bad. And these people are pulling together and helping each other, and it's bringing out the real Kerala, the Malayan people are just pulling together and just helping each other, which is amazing.
കേരളത്തിലെ കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ടി ഗവൺമെന്റിന്റെ പ്രഖ്യാപനത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് 28, 29, 30 തീയതികളിൽ എല്ലാ കുട്ടനാട്ടിലെ എല്ലാ വീടുകളും പൊതുസ്ഥാപനങ്ങളും ഞങ്ങൾ ക്ലീൻ ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടാണ് ഡിവൈഎഫ്ഐയുടെയും സിപിഐഎമ്മിന്റെയും പ്രവർത്തകരായിട്ടുള്ള ഞങ്ങൾ കുട്ടനാട്ടിൽ ഏകദേശം 30,000 പേര് ക്ലീൻ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി മറ്റു ജില്ലകളിൽ നിന്ന് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Severe flooding affected Kerala recently and killed over 300 people, destroyed tens of thousands of homes and washed away roads and bridges, leading to an estimated loss of at least $2.85 billion.
The 9th edition of a 3-day chilli festival kicked off on Wednesday in India's northeastern Manipur province. The event displayed organic chilies grown in the region, which is known for its taste and color.
The 9th edition of the Hathai Panit, a 3-day chilli festival, kicked off in Ukhrul district of India's northeastern Manipur province on Wednesday. Hathai is an 8-inch chilli which adds more color and flavor to food and is only grown in Sirarkong village of the district. There were around 18 stalls on the first day of the event displaying the organic chilies.
We are celebrating it as a gift from God. So Hathai, we are taking it as the gift from God. So we are celebrating to glorify His name.
A cultural program was also organized as the event was inaugurated. The festival is held to celebrate the production of Hathai and to provide a platform to the chili growers of Sirarkong village.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Prime Minister addresses 4th BIMSTEC summit in Nepal. Two militants killed in encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. And Pakistan's military plotted Ghazni attack, says Afghan Interior Ministry. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.